Jim, there's no good transition, but it wasn't their first box, but it was another boxy Saturday night with AEW Collision, and the ratings are in.
Well, it certainly wasn't a stool sample.
No.
We know that much.
That's Wednesday night.
That's Wednesday night. They give us just the regular old urine sample on Saturday night, and we like it. I don't know what I'm talking about. That was a transition, folks, from the sponsor spot now to what happened on Collision, the ratings. It was another fine wrestling program. How did the people feel about it?
This week's AEW Collision, July 22nd, on TNT, was watched by 618,000 viewers.
Okay, now is that is up slightly from last week, as I recall, or is it? Tell me.
Well, according to WrestleNomics, by a slim margin, this was the highest total viewership for Collision other than the debut episode.
Excellent. So they're building something by having good shows, and people are slowly picking up on that fact and tuning in to see the good show that they're doing. And we mentioned last week, and it's been that pattern, that this show keeps more of its viewers and indeed sometimes gains viewers as it goes on, whereas the Wednesday night program does the opposite. So was that the case here this past Saturday night?
Well, let's go to these numbers. Once again, these are from WrestleNomics. One other note here, just because I do bring up the key demo, this was also the lowest key demo number other than the 4th of July weekend. So higher overall number, but lower 18 to 49. The show opened.
Well, what were the people that were between the ages of 18 and 49 doing the other night?
Barbieheimer.
Ah, there you go.
Segment 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m., the opening backstage promos, and then Ricky Starks being confronted by CM Punk, who's confronted by Christian Cage, and Luchasaurus confronted by Darby Allin.
And you were looking back to see if I was looking back to see if you were looking back to see if I was looking back. All right.
Well, you were looking back to see 664,000 viewers.
Oh, okay. Starts out with a bang there. Now that number would indicate we're going to lose some along the way before we get to the average.
Well, before we get to segment 2, maybe. Segment 2, or quarter 2, 8:15 to 8:30 p.m. The Andrade El Idolo backstage angle where he's removed from the arena. Picture-in-picture ads. Action Andretti and Darius Martin versus Bullet Club Gold with picture-in-picture. 556,000 viewers.
Ouch! Okay. So there is some element, as we mentioned, of if you want to get guys over, they got to beat people on TV, and when you give them people to beat on TV, people know what's going to happen. So Action Andretti and Tits McGee was
Darius Martin.
There you go. Was not a marquee match for the team of Gin and Juice, but one would not have thought that they would lose 108,000 viewers there over that transition. Did people think, well, Punk's been on, he's not? No, we knew he was coming back. Are they coming back?
Well, let's find out. Quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. The final 3 minutes of the previous tag team match. The post-match with the Guns, an ad break, and Miro versus Nick Camarado, followed by an FTR video. 567,000 viewers.
Okay, a small gain of 11,000 for a segment that, if I hadn't seen them bail out in the previous one, I'd have said that's where they're going to lose some people. But so we're headed back in the right direction, but that's minor fluctuation.
Quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. The entrances with picture-in-picture for the House of Black versus Billy Gunn and the Acclaimed, and then that match. 620,000 viewers.
Okay, potentially. They just didn't like all the shit that went on in the middle, but they came back for the Acclaimed. We picked up another 53,000. So, they're picking and choosing this week, it appears.
Well, we'll see how it continues to appear. The 9 o'clock hour, quarter 5, 9 to 9:15 p.m. FTR's live in-ring promo, an ad break, and Taya Valkyrie versus Sky Blue, 609,000 viewers.
And we're back down 11,000. Again, not a strong quarter. And that's kind of normal bathroom break type fluctuation. So they tuned out drastically in 2 and 3. They've come back in 4, and they're hanging around in 5.
Quarter 6, 9:15 to 9:30 p.m. Taya Valkyrie versus Sky Blue continued with picture-in-picture, and then Taya Valkyrie's live promo and an ad break. 621,000 viewers.
Good Lord. So their girls' matches gain viewers. And maybe we attribute that to Sky Blue's Gluteus Maximi.
Derriere. I think Derriere is still approved as not being too offensive.
So we're back up to, only in Wisconsin, America's Dairyland, where you, as soon as you step off the plane, you smell that dairy air. But they used to hate it when I would tell them that in Milwaukee and Green Bay. All right, so we're stuck at about 6:10 to 6:20 for 45 minutes. Where are we going from here?
Quarter 7. CM Punk and Darby Allin versus Christian Cage and Ricky Starks with picture-in-picture. 653,000 viewers.
Okay, so now they pick up another 32,000 when Punk comes back on screen.
And the final quarter, quarter 8, 9:45 to 10 p.m., the continuation and the end of the match with Punk and Allin versus Cage and Starks with picture-in-picture, and the post-match, 657,000 viewers.
And everybody stayed, and they picked up the few that mistakenly thought the main event wasn't going to start till 15 minutes till. So, yeah, obviously, clearly, this program every week either keeps the same amount of viewers at the finish as it had at the start, while losing some in some of the drabber quarters, or it actually gains. And most of the time, it's when Punk is on the screen that you do your highest numbers. And none of that is surprising, because it's a good program that as for all the reasons we've mentioned, you don't want to fucking just leave in the middle, because you're not seeing endless chaos, and Punk's the star of it. So there you have it.
And again, a very different ratings pattern than what you see on Dynamite. So you would assume a different audience, or at least a different retention level of the audience on a different night. I don't know.
Well, and honestly, the way that you read the program, it sounded worse than when we watched it. It didn't sound like anything to speak of, but when we watched it, it was better. So,
and it didn't sound like anything to speak of when they were building it up. Isn't that funny? It ended up being okay to watch it, but on paper, it sounds like shit.
Yeah, imagine that. Whereas it's the other way around again on Wednesday nights. It's the bizarro world, Wednesday and Saturday. They couldn't be farther apart.